Welcome back. Here we go again with more Lost Thoughts at MSG.com. Well, the show begins this week with Kate telling Jack that she wants to lie. One of many lies we've seen in the show, and we know that the island penalizes lying, the absence of virtue. And we know that that's a bad thing, which leads to the lawyer, which we'll get to in a moment. But the biggest liar in the show is Ben, and I think this is one of the first times we get the sense that Ben will pay the ultimate price for all those lies, and he's still lying in the show. Now we get to the island, and the island is jumping through time. And I think what that's doing is the island is revealing itself to us and to them for what it's been for all these years and all this amount of time. And this confuses Sawyer a lot. And I think it's because he feels very not in control. He doesn't understand it. Who would? And we hear a lot of son of a bitch. And I have a feeling that that's a clue for the son of a bitch. Who might that be? I don't know. But it could be Faraday, who's the son of some woman we're not sure of yet, who could really be a bitch. That's one of the tells. One of the other things is that as they're bouncing through time, we get certain things explained. For example, one of the questions that's come up a lot on the show is, where does the power come from? How are all these lights lit? Why is everything still powered up? It could be that the bomb from last week, Jughead, is eventually transformed into some vast power source by Charles Widmore and company. Who knows about that? But now we get to other things like Rousseau in the raft with Jin at the end. When they argue in French, they're arguing that they never should have followed the numbers. So that's the first tell that they also came through a storm like Desmond did, like you see in the horizon when Juliet and Sawyer are sitting on the sand. You see the lightning off. There's a storm coming. There's a storm brewing. They are running out of time. The end is near. And there are scenes in this show that remind me of a lot of other scenes which reinforce the skipping record. When Sawyer and Juliet are sitting on the beach, it struck me that that's exactly what they were doing when she was drunk, when he first landed on the beach, when he came up, and they were sharing some intimate thoughts. It was really one of the few times that they bonded. Now we get to Ben, who's the master manipulator. And in this game against Charles Widmore, he has to restore the Oceanic Six and bring them back to the island to get that timeline going again. The law firm that he's using to help manipulate Kate with the attack from the lawyers, and he knew that she'd run away the moment they challenged her legally, and she does, right into his arms. Everybody does exactly what Ben wants. The law firm is an anagram for retaining donor's son. The donor's son has to be Locke, right? He gave his kidney. He's the donor's son. And I think this is Ben's and Richard Alpert's major miscalculation. They have put their faith in a man who has not made the right decisions in his life to accept being what they had hoped him to be. Now, the reincarnation is what is the anagram on the side of the van that Ben and Saeed are driving. Clearly now, the mission is to bring Locke back with the others and reincarnate him. It's like crazy science fiction stuff, but I think that's where we're going. So now, here we are with the pieces in this game being put back into place. And it was fascinating watching how they got the pieces in place to get the Six on the helicopter. Now it's going to be fascinating to see how they put the Six back on the island. Now the show rewards its avid viewers. We've touched that. But they also reward the people who play their little games on the internet. And if you've been to Ajira Airways, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And when they found the water bottle in the canoe and it was from Ajira, my gosh, are they really going to get back on Ajira Airlines Flight 316? Well, there's an episode coming up that's named 316. Now, the other thing on this show is that the titles sometimes seem to mean a lot. And this is called The Little Prince. And you think, oh, it's got to be Aaron, right? Well, The Little Prince is a French story. It's a fantasy about a kid who pops up in the desert. And in order to get back to his home where he wants to be, he has to die. Okay, so there's another Locke thing. So it's pretty clear that, and we know Locke is dead, that he needs to get back, and these pieces need to be put in place, and Ben's still lying at every turn, and that liars get penalized. So these are all tells, I think, for the future. Now, next week's show is This Place is Death. Does that mean the island is where death happens? I have no idea. None of us have any idea. That's why we watch. That's Lost Thoughts. Join us here again next week. We'll talk about This Place is Death.